Let's talk about the FMETF. What is it? Para ba to sa'yo? What's good about it? What's bad about it? Is it for short term? Is it for long term? Let's answer all those questions. Let's begin. Putting your money in an index fund is one of the easiest ways for you to start investing in the stock market. And First Metro Philippine Equity ETF, or FMETF for short, is the best index fund in the Philippines right now. Before we go to the details kung bakit one of the best siya right now, let's talk about first kung ano ito. FMETF ay isang uri ng investment fund katulad ng mutual fund or UITF. More specifically, it is an ETF or exchange-traded fund. Ang exchange-traded fund ay directly bought and sold in the stock market. It is an equity fund, meaning na yung pera dyan is invested in the stock market and it mirrors the PSEI. What does it mean for FMETF to mirror the PSEI? Bago natin sagutin yon, let's first talk about kung ano yung PSEI. It is a collection of 30 stocks of the biggest blue chip companies in the Philippines right now. These are the companies included in the PSEI. Yung biggest dito, I believe, is SM Investments. Diyan included yung lahat ng businesses ng SM Group of Companies, including yung malls, yung real estate, yung bangko, etc. Followed by SM Prime Holdings and the rest of the stocks in the PSEI. So 30 yan sila. So those are the 30 stocks included in the index. Now let's go to the charts. Ito yung chart ng PSEI. In the right-hand side, meron tayong value. Yung value ng PSEI corresponds to the price movement of the individual stocks in the index. So for example, if lahat ng stocks or karamihan ng stocks in the PSEI went up in price, aakyat rin yung value ng index. At the same time, if most of them bumababa, bababa rin yung value ng index. Right now, it is at 6,728 and it has been moving up since the pandemic started or the pandemic lockdown, this date specifically. So, around March, February to March, last year, 2020, bumaba yung PSEI from a level of 7,465, bumaba ito hanggang 4,000 level. Meaning lang yan, maraming mga tao yung nagbenta ng mga PSEI stocks at a very low price. And when that happens, nagtitrigger yan ng bargain hunters. And pag bumaba yung price and pumasok na si bargain hunters, yung mga bargain hunters willing na magbayad ng kahit na mas mataas na presyo for the stocks. So kaya umaakyat siya. Unti-unti siyang umaakyat habang umaakyat rin yung value ng PSEI stocks. So as you can see, since the pandemic started, meron itong uptrend. Meron tayong trend going from the bottom hanggang dito. And right now, it is mostly sideways from 7,400 hanggang 6,600, around those levels. Now, the question is, how is this related to the FMETF investment? As I said earlier, the FMETF mirrors the PSEI. To illustrate how that works, let's go to the FMETF na chart. So as you can see, ito yung FMETF na chart. It is also in a trend. Bumaba rin siya noong around March 2020 and then slowly rin siyang umaakyat. So this is PSEI. Please take mental note of the shapes of these prices or of these values, and this is FMETF. As you can see, parang pareho yung movements nila. Why? Because FMETF mirrors PSEI. To, to explain that, let me first talk about what this is or what FMETF is. When you buy FMETF units, you are buying at a specific price. Ito yung mga prices na yan, nandito sa right-hand side. So in our chart here, bumaba siya hanggang 65 level noong pandemic lockdown na time. Tapos, unti-unti rin siyang umaakyat and now it is at 101.6 pesos per unit. Unlike sa regular stocks in the stock market whose price is dictated by the push and pull by the buyers, FMETF prices are dictated by the performance of the PSEI. So for example, if umakyat yung value ng PSEI like right here noong May 27 hanggang June 10, expect mo rin na aakyat yung value ng FMETF in the same dates at around the same percentage. So that is how FMETF increases in value. It just mirrors the value of the PSEI. So if yung PSEI increase 5% between these dates, yung FMETF will increase at around the same rate. So that is yung kalakaran sa FMETF. Right now, nandito siya sa 101. If aakyat yung PSEI in the future, aakyat yun rin yung price dito. Pero if bababa yung PSEI, this price will also go down. So that's how First Metro ETF works. Because you decide when you buy and when you sell, the strategy is simple. Buy low and sell high. That's it. It's that simple. Pero, bakit may mga nalulugi? Because meron ding mga downsides yung investment na to. So, is this investment for you? We will try to answer that, or you will try to answer that based on the pros and cons that I will discuss next. So move on tayo first sa bad news about this type of investment. The first one is that you will need a brokerage account. If that is a hurdle for you, then of course, wag ka nang pumasok dito. Pero I'm telling you now, if wala ka pang brokerage account, it's really easy. BDO, BPI, Metro Bank, they all have brokerage accounts now and you only need to sign up online para maka-apply dito. So this is not a very big downside. The next risk is yung exposure mo to stock market risks. So this is a big one because as you have seen earlier, nasa 9,000 level na tayo at around 2018-2019. Tapos bumaba tayo agad sa PSEI to 4,000 level by 2020 noong pag-announce ng lockdown. So, there is that volatility in the market. Pero, aakyat rin yan. But the thing is, you need to know when to buy and when to sell. So, this leads us to the next point, which is, timing is a big factor. And maraming magsasabi sa'yo na bili ka lang ng bili ng stocks, mag-a-average lang yan, eventually tataas rin yung stocks and then kikita ka when the market is high. But the thing is, it doesn't really work like that. The stock market, especially the PSEI, has a cycle. And every now and then, bumababa siya to a correction na medyo mabigat. Like noong 2020, right here, in this section, bumaba siya to the 4,000 level from 9,000 all-time high noong 2018. So, let's say na nag-start ka mag-invest noong 2011, umakyat na yung capital mo, umakyat na siya hanggang umabot siya sa 9,000 level noong all-time high, tapos di ka pa nagbenta at an all-time high. What will happen is that bababa yung price mo, especially if yung all-time high na yan is manufactured by the market. Okay, so bababa yan. And then, if matamaan ka ng isang pandemic level event, mawawala yung more than 50% of your capital in one day. So, yan yung volatility ng market. But, aakyat rin yan. Aabutin niya rin to eventually. But the thing is, this is time that your money is not growing. It's just catching up to the level where it was once before. So because of that, big factor ang timing. When do you buy and when do you sell? Next is yung sales tax. Whenever you transact in a brokerage sa stock market, you need to pay a sales tax. So meron tayong ibang mga vehicles or investment vehicles na walang sales tax. Kaya con ito or downside ito. Now let's move on to the positive naman na side ng ganitong klaseng investment. Let's go to the pros. One is that it is good for stock market beginners. Kung gusto mo mag-umpisa, mag-dip ng toes mo sa stock market, especially sa Philippine stock market, this is a good way to start because it will give you a feel of how the price goes up and down in the market. And another reason why it is good for beginners is that there is no need for you to study and to pick stocks yourself. Kasi nga, you are only buying FMETF, which is PSEI. And PSEI is the top 30 na biggest blue chip companies sa Philippines. So basically, PSE did the stock picking for you. Next is liquidity. And this is a big thing, especially if you need cash, right? So liquidity in investments means na madali mo siyang ma-convert into cash when you need it. And if you want to buy right now, you can buy. So there is liquidity in this type of investment. Yung MP2 for example, pag-ibig MP2 and yung time deposit, they have holding periods. Because of that, they have lower liquidity compared to this one. Because there is that time period wherein you cannot touch your money. You cannot pull it out. If you pull it out, meron kang punishment, right? Meron kang fees or deductions, whatever. Pero, with FMETF, you can buy and sell anytime. Assuming na you bought low and you sold high, wala kang penalty if you decide to take out your money. Next is diversification. So this is a diversification tool if you want na maghanap ng other opportunities wherein you can put your investment. So for example, meron ka ng real estate asset, meron ka ng business, meron ka ng MP2, meron ka ng UITF. This is another area kung saan pwede kang pumasok, and because it is good for beginners, mas madali sa'yo pumasok. And because of the liquidity, you can buy anytime you need to buy. If bumaba yung price, for example, and you want to take advantage of the stock market dips, this is an opportunity for diversification. And lastly, this has low fees. Pero meron niyang dapat asterisk, right? Because fees is relative compared to sa other investment vehicles. Like for example, if we compare it to MP2, yung MP2 is not taxed. Yung income mo sa MP2, wala yung taxes. So, better yung MP2 in terms of fees and taxes. Pero, FMETF is better than its mutual fund counterparts, especially yung mga traditional mutual funds na merong 1% to 2% management fees because yung FMETF management fee is just 0.5% per annum. So it beats yung mga asset management companies na kilala mo, yung mga yellow, green, and red na asset management companies, it beats them in terms of management fees. And this really translates into long-term profits. So yun yung mga pros and cons of investing in FMETF. Ideally, you want this to be a long-term investment. Best if you could buy at a low price. Like right now, low pa yung price na to compared to where it could be going if the market or the economy improves. So as the economy improves, so will the PSEI level and so will the FMETF prices. So aakyat yan as the economy improves from our pandemic experience. So that's it for today. Next time we will discuss on how we could try to predict or to buy on the dips, buy low, para mag-lower yung average natin when buying FMETF. If you like the video so far, and if you like these types of videos, please like na lang ng video na to. And you may also subscribe. It's free. And if you enjoy the video and you have some comments about it on how we could improve, mag-leave lang ng comment down below. All right? So, ingat guys!